Have you ever wondered what happens to those unforgettable songs that top the charts and then disappear? You know the ones. The tunes that you can't help but sing along to. But when you check back, the artists behind them vanish from the spotlight. Today, we're diving deep into the world of one-hit wonders, and this time, we're traveling back to 1968. Get ready to discover the stories behind 31 iconic one-hit wonders that took over the airwaves and left us asking, whatever happened to them? One, Judy in Disguise with Glasses, John Fred and his Playboy Band. A playful and quirky take on Beatles-inspired psychedelia. This song was an unexpected smash hit. However, the band couldn't replicate the success of Judy in Disguise, with their follow-up singles not connecting with listeners. They eventually faded into obscurity, and John Fred never returned to mainstream charts. 2. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Hugo Montenegro. Hugo Montenegro's instrumental version of the famous movie theme unexpectedly topped the charts. Despite this success, he found it hard to recreate the magic, and his later works, mostly focusing on film and television scores, never resonated with pop audiences. He remained more of a behind-the-scenes composer. 3. Grazing the Grass, Hugh Masekela. Hugh Masekela's fusion of jazz and African rhythms became an international hit. But despite his talent and numerous albums, no subsequent single matched the success of Grazing in the Grass. Masekela focused more on activism in his jazz career, never again reaching U.S. pop chart heights.
Teenage daughter who attended Harper Valley Junior High.
4. Harper Valley PDA, Jeannie C. Riley. This countrified pop anthem about a defiant woman caught the public's attention, and Jeannie C. Riley's follow-up efforts couldn't match the impact of this iconic song. Riley continued a successful country career, but never replicated the same success in the pop charts again. 5. Bend Me, Shape Me, The American Breed. A catchy, horn-heavy pop tune. Bend Me, Shape Me became a major hit, but was the band's only significant chart success. After the single, the band struggled to evolve musically, and they disbanded shortly after, with members later joining the band Rufus.
Reach out in the darkness.
6. Reach Out of the Darkness, Friend and Lover. This piece anthem captured the mood of the late 60s. But after a single chart hit, the duo's momentum stalled. They couldn't maintain their popularity, and both members faded from the music scene after their brief moment of fame.
They're done. Fire.
7. Fire, The Crazy World of Arthur Brown. Arthur Brown's theatrical and blazing performance, combined with his eccentric persona, made Fire a huge hit. However, his experimental style was too far ahead of its time, and he never matched the commercial success of Fire again. Brown continued to explore avant-garde music, but remained a cult figure. 8. The Horse, Cliff Nobles and Company. This instrumental track, with its catchy rhythm, became a big hit, but the vocal version of the song, intended as the A-side, never gained traction. The group had no follow-up hits, and Cliff Nobles, the lead, never found mainstream success again.
But it's love, sweet love, that makes a woman.
9. Love Makes a Woman, Barbara Acklin. Barbara Acklin's smooth vocal delivery and soulful style made this song a memorable hit. However, despite being a successful session singer and songwriter for other artists, Acklin never had another chart-topping single of her own, and her solo career didn't take off.
Just call me Angel of the Morning, Angel.
10. Angel of the Morning, Merrily Rush. An emotional ballad of love and regret. Angel of the Morning resonated with audiences, but Merrily Rush could never match its success, despite a few smaller hits afterward. She continued performing in smaller venues without returning to the top of the charts.
Somebody else. All my witnesses.
11. Court of Love, The Unifics, a soulful track that showed off impressive harmonies. Court of Love had the potential for more, but the group couldn't maintain its momentum. The band's follow-up releases flopped, and they eventually disbanded, leaving behind this one shining moment.
I'm a girl watcher. I'm a girl watcher.
12. Girl Watcher, The Occasions. This fun, catchy song captured the attention of pop audiences. But after its success, the band failed to continue the momentum. The Occasions couldn't translate their initial fame into long-term popularity, and they faded from the music scene soon after.
Never mean a word you say, boy.
13. Playboy Gene and Debbie. This sweet and innocent country pop duet had its moment in the spotlight, but Gene and Debbie's romantic image didn't have staying power. Their marriage ended, and so did their career as a duo, with no further hits or chart success following Playboy.
There's a long-necked geese, some humpty-back camels, and some chimpanzees.
14. The Unicorn, The Irish Rovers. A whimsical folk song about mythological tale. The Unicorn charmed audiences and became a hit. While it stayed popular in Canada, the group could never replicate the success in the U.S. They enjoyed a brief period of fame, but failed to chart again in America.
Believe me when I say how much I care.
15. Lo Mucho Que Te Quiero, Renee and Renee. This bilingual love ballad appealed to both English and Spanish-speaking audiences, making it a crossover success. However, the duo struggled to follow up their hit, and they faded quickly from the music scene without producing more hits. 16. Nobody But Me, The Human Banes. A fast-paced garage rock favorite. Nobody But Me captured the spirit of the time, but was a one-off hit. Legal issues and poor promotion hurt their ability to follow up, and the band broke up soon after, leaving their sole hit as a cult favorite in movies and commercials.
Well, if you wanna use the car, go right next Sunday.
17. Summertime Blues, Blue Cheer. Blue Cheer's hard rock cover of Summertime Blues made waves in the late 60s, showcasing their heavy proto-metal style. However, their sound was too loud for mainstream radio, and despite a dedicated following, they remained a cult band, never matching their initial commercial success.
Judge, he is the judge. He is the judge. Everybody knows that he is the judge.
18. Here Comes the Judge, Pigmeat Markham. A comedian and novelty artist, Pigmeat Markham created a funky, court-themed comedy track that became a hit. However, he quickly returned to his roots in comedy and live shows, leaving behind this one-hit wonder without any further musical chart success.
Gonna make you love me. Yes, I will.
19. I'm Gonna Make You Love Me, Madeline Bell. A soulful powerhouse of a song. I'm Gonna Make You Love Me became a hit, but Madeline Bell's success didn't carry over to mainstream U.S. market. She continued to work as a session singer, but never had another charting single. 20. Master Jack, For Jacks and a Jill. A folk pop hit that captured listeners with its catchy melody, Master Jack was a one-off success. As interest in folk waned, the group faded into obscurity, unable to replicate the song's success in the changing musical landscape.
I love you. I love you. I love you.
21. I Love You, People. A cover of a lesser-known song. I Love You became a hit, but tensions within the band led to their split. The lead singer eventually joined a cult group, and the band's brief moment in the spotlight quickly passed, with no further chart success to follow.
I'm your sweet inspiration.
22. Sweet Inspiration, The Sweet Inspirations. With gospel-inspired harmonies, the Sweet Inspirations had a brief pop chart success. Known more for their backing vocals for big names like Aretha Franklin and Elvis Presley, the group never had another charting hit as a main act, staying behind the scenes.
Temptations, yeah. So many people say that.
23. Can't Find the Time, Orpheus. This soft rock track had modest success, but didn't capture the public's imagination in the long term. Despite re-releases, Orpheus never managed to make a return to the charts, and the band split after their brief run on the scene. 24. Tiptoe Through the Tulips with Me, Tiny Tim. Tiny Tim's unique falsetto voice and ukulele playing persona made Tiptoe Through the Tulips a quirky sensation. Despite the novelty factor, Tiny Tim couldn't replicate the success of his hit, and he became known more for his eccentric persona than for his music.
Waiting to explode when tomorrow is
25. Shape of Things to Come, Max Frost and the Troopers, a garage rock hit created specifically for a movie soundtrack. Shape of Things to Come captured the youth counterculture spirit. However, the band was a one-off creation, and there was no tour or promotion afterward. The hit vanished as quickly as it appeared. 26. Listen Here, Eddie Harris. Eddie Harris's jazz saxophone blended with funky rhythms. But his single Listen Here was his only U.S. pop hit. He focused on album releases and live performances, carving out a niche in the jazz world but never reaching pop success again.
A little arrows for me and for you. You're falling in love.
27. Little Arrows, Leapy Lee, a catchy pop country tune with charm. Little Arrows was popular for a brief period, especially in Europe. However, Leapy Lee's success didn't translate to more hits, and he returned to touring in the UK, where his popularity remained limited.
The pleasures of the journey to the center of the mind.
28. Journey to the Center of the Mind, the Amboy Dukes, a psychedelic rock track driven by Ted Nugent's guitar. Journey to the Center of the Mind was the band's only big hit. Nugent went on to a successful solo career, and the Amboy Dukes dissolved shortly after their brief moment in the spotlight. 29. Quick Joey Small, Castanet's Cats Singing Orchestral Circus, a bubblegum pop song full of energy and fun. This track was a one-hit wonder from a studio-made group with no real band behind it. The producers quickly moved on to other projects, and the band's success was short-lived. 30. Shame, Shame, Magic Lanterns. This British rock band had a catchy single with Shame, Shame, but couldn't capitalize on their early buzz. They were dropped from their label after poor sales, and the group faded from the U.S. music scene, never releasing another hit.
Just over pray if they drop the bomb, they drop it on a Vietcong, and it's 1, 2, 3.
31. I Feel Like I'm Fixing to Die Rag, Country Joe and the Fish, a psychedelic anti-war protest song. I Feel Like I'm Fixing to Die Rag captured the mood of the counterculture, but was too political for mainstream radio. The band found a niche in the counterculture scene, but never had another commercial hit, remaining a cult favorite. If you love this video, you won't want to miss this next one. Click here to watch another amazing video that you'll absolutely enjoy.